Obligatory podcast intro.
Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt with my co-host Adam, and this show is where we take all 50 letters of the alphabet, we put them in a chimney, we each draw a letter, and then pick a comic that begins with that letter. I don't know his, he does not know mine. Spoilers ahead for these two comics for sure, and possibly some other nonsense we may get into without thinking about it. But so what did you get? What letter?
I got a K.
Oh, yeah, I got U.
Yeah.
I got another U. That's crazy. I thought...
Use a
because it's taken out
one.
now. When you're not going to get it for like 13 episodes or some shit.
Yeah, true.
All right, so yeah, I got you. I got one called Until My Knuckles Bleed.
Ooh.
Extremely Damaged Part 1. It sounds like it's about to, like super raw, but check it out. It's cool. This was done by Victor Santos. That's the only name I saw on it.
Yeah.
Like, it literally went from title
To his name.
to
That's how mine is.
Comic.
That's literally
So
how
yeah,
mine
one
is.
guy, I'm pretty sure, he did a lot of this. Mm-hmm. So it says the 90s. It was a wild and lawless, crazy time, right?
Yeah.
He said the people were scared. They needed heroes, or we wanted to be heroes, but they needed something more. They needed warriors, superheroes.
Okay.
Right? So, crazy time. They were glorified soldiers. They lived it. They fought the war, and then everyone forgot about them. Right? So, and what they're showing is images of what we can guess are superheroes.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, it shows a big group right here of men and women.
Yeah.
And they are... obviously the way they're dressed and they're holding weapons and they look silly, and he's got metal arms, so like they're a superhero team, we can presume,
like
basically.
a military style
seems like it
team.
So yeah, we lived that way. Everyone forgot about us, so it cuts to like years and years later. The man with the metal arms, he's like really old.
He looks like Cable to me.
Oh yeah, when he was young.
When he was young, yeah.
Now he looks like Kingpin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just like, he's really big, and he's a little older now.
He bulked.
Yeah, he bulked. Yeah, he got wide.
Yeah.
He got wide. So he's like, he says, we're doing what every soldier wants to do, is we try to serve. And he works at a titty club. Nice. He's like a bodyguard, bouncer. Basically does a lot of stuff. You see him like handing little coffees to the dancers. Apparently he's really nice to the women. You see him throwing out dudes like left and right.
Yeah.
Just doing his job. He goes in and he talks to this man, Borya. So there's a lot of Russians in this. And Borya's Borya's the owner of the club. And he's, asking him like, hey, can I get a raise? And he's like, man, it's not up to me. The Russian bosses, the elders, they're hardcore Russians.
Yeah.
I would have to convince them. And people also don't like strip clubs anymore, apparently.
Right?
In this world. And they're in Detroit. I don't know what titty clubs are like in Detroit, but maybe they're not.
I mean, compared to how they used to be, titty clubs aren't as big as they used to because of the internet.
And that's exactly what he starts talking about. And he goes into graphic, gross detail about what people like. But he basically said there's a lot of weird, sick shit out there. People don't want to see girls anymore. Just girls.
Just plain vanilla.
Vanilla-ass women. Give me some weird shit. Apparently, yeah. So he's like, I'll ask the bosses about the raise. Like, you're a good worker. All the girls love you. The clients like you. Like, you're a good dude. So I'll see what I can do. So it cuts to him, and he's with his ex. His ex was Avenge Lady. She was with him. She was part of that group you saw at the beginning, right? Yeah. So her name's Kendra. She's just Kendra now, and she seems like she's fallen into like a hardcore depression. They're not together anymore. And he's like, hey, I'm trying to save money and I got plans. He goes through all the streaming services.
Oh, okay.
He's like, you're subscribed to Film Flicks and Hug Plus and does other ones. Uh-huh. And she's like, makes a joke and he's, take this seriously. I'm trying to save money, blah, blah, blah. So it's just showing the way they like talk to each other. Yeah. It's very monotone, not a lot of excitement in there. She's like clinically depressed, and he feels guilty because one, they had to live like the soldier. They weren't glorified superheroes. They were soldiers.
Yeah.
You know,
they
so
actually fought.
yeah, they were killing and fighting, and it was technically war as more than let's go fight this costume guy.
It wasn't an afternoon. You actually went and fought a war.
So you can tell she's, feeling really down and depressed about where their life went, apparently, because obviously, not together. But it shows them smushing. They go have a burger and some breakfast or whatever, and then they go hook up.
Nice.
So after he gets up from the bed, you can see him, like his back. He's got a bunch of holes in it, like seems like where it's like insertion points.
Yeah,
for,
little cables.
Yeah, exactly. Cable insertion points for his armor. So he had metal arms. He says it right here.
That's how it connects to his metal stuff.
Yeah, he said, "Open wounds, not metaphorically. The old insertions in my tech armors burn like hell." So he says his new favorite superhero is Painkiller.
Yeah.
So he's also addicted to painkillers. So this guy's not doing too hot. So he has to take this girl, Alicia. She's from Georgia, not the American Georgia, the Russian Georgia.
Yeah, if you hadn't mentioned the Russians
You
I would
like,
have been like,
oh,
okay.
she's from Georgia. My
She
name is
real
Alicia.
Southern. Yeah, she's a real nice Southern belle.
Yeah. So he has to take her to get something work on her tooth or some crap. I forgot what it was. Oh, she has an ulcer. That's what it is. So they're just chatting, and she's like, "You were a superhero?" And he was like, "Yeah, kind of." And she was like, "Avenger," and he was like, "My name was Damager." And she says, makes a joke about it sounding like a Jeep brand. She's like, "Thank you for taking me to the doctor. You're really sweet. I appreciate it." And he's like, "That's what gentlemen do. Do you have a family?" She's like, "Yeah, they're in Georgia, right?"
Yeah.
So she's actually saving money at the titty club to send money home to eventually get back there one day, right?
Okay, yeah.
So she gives him a kiss. She runs in, does her ulcer. This dude is like double fisting 2 hot dogs in an alleyway because he's a big dude, and I'm guessing he's hungry. He's just staring up at this billboard that says Call of Will. It's a new show on Hug Plus about all these heroes, and he's looking at one dude specifically. So it doesn't straight say that, but I think that guy is Damager. Because he says they used our look, even our names.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the group is called the same thing or if there is a Damager on the Hug Plus TV show.
Okay.
If that's about him, basically.
Yeah, they using his
so he's
name.
like, yeah, right. So he's like, they're pretty handsome, clean cut. He's like, we're just a chunky body where you could put cannons and armor and shit and just send in to fight. He goes, our power, our resources, and even our names. And he's like, they're really not so different. So he finishes his hot dogs. I guess he takes Alicia back to the titty club. Yeah. And he goes to this Onslaught bar.
Always a dope name.
Onslaught?
Anytime
oh, yeah, for
it's
sure.
Used every day for everything.
Have you ever heard anything cool? Onslaught that wasn't cool?
No.
They're like, Onslaught pickles.
I would be like, you know what? I've never once in my entire life eaten or liked pickles, but
you might
that
try
name, bro.
Onslaught.
Try me a pickle.
Onslaught of pickle flavor.
So good pickle Onslaught.
It's an onslaught of alcohol at the Onslaught bar. So he says, sometimes I have a drink with the boys. It's the world's finest superheroes. And he goes through it. He's like, Bloodspur. That's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Degenerative osteoporosis, vascular surgery pending. Death Wisher. This dude, this jacked black dude, he's got claws like Wolverine. And he says, diabetes, 3 hip operations. And he's super fat now. Yeah. Super fat guy. So he says, hey, Damager, and he notes that this is the only place we use our code names. So he asks him, where's Morningstar, your better half? Him and Death Wish are really good buddies. So he's like, oh, he got work with a private company in, doing some murky shit, him. And he says, I can't believe, people can't get enough cracking heads. He's like, that's crazy.
Oh, because they're done.
Yeah, right?
I'm done.
They're old and fat now.
Yeah.
So they see this woman, and Death Wisher starts saying, oh, yeah, that she was like a 2nd or 3rd league superhero. Her name was like Stone something. So she's in here, and she walks up to Gavin. Sorry, I didn't even say his name. Our main character's named Gavin Hart.
Okay.
And that's Damager.
Oh, okay.
The big white dude. I can't believe I didn't say that, man. So anyway, she goes, your name's Gavin Hart. And yeah, that's me. She says, I'm with the, where is it?
It's some acronym or whatever.
No, she says, I'm Special Agent Carfay from the Experimental Armament Recovery. And he's like, yo, I gave everything back. I haven't keep anything.
Yeah.
I'm completely done with that life. She was like, well, if you find something or think of anything, remember anything, give me a call. There's also some good rewards in it for you. And Death Wisher is like, he goes, have you kept anything? He's like, because I kept a wrist-mounted plasma cannon. He said, I kept a plasma hand cannon. He's like, it's my retirement. And Damager Gavin is like, no, I didn't keep anything. Like, I'm done with that world. So he's sitting there drinking, popping some pills. And he's like, I thought I was done with that world. He's like, you know what I was freaking missing, though? Was like one final battle. Just one, like, glory-filled battle. He's like, we never got that. And he's like almost reminiscing, like, man, I really wish we did, you know? So it cuts to like a comic page. It says Steve Lark presents Extreme Damages. So it's like Damager and Death Wisher were the best at their job, and their job was painting with blood. And when they freed the Amazons, the warrior ladies were so grateful. And he's like, wait, stop. So it cuts to the next panel. It's this little kid. And he's with his dad, and he's like, that's my favorite Damager issue. So all the Amazons were about to get freaky with Damager and Death Wisher. And he's like, that one's awesome. And he's like, you shouldn't be reading this stuff. And he looks at his dad, and look at the face his dad is making. He's just a fucking goober, just smiling like, hey, sign my stuff.
Yeah.
Goober. And he's like, you shouldn't let him read that stuff. And then he stares at him. He's like, anyways, signs his autograph. So cuts to, this is issue 2. He's back to Boria, the owner of the strip club.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, man, I know you've been talking about retirement. I've saving up some money. This is his plan with the money. This is why he wants her to get rid of Hug Plus and Film Flicks. And he's like, I want to buy your portion of the bar. Like, I know everyone. You just said it the other day. The girls like me. I know the clients.
Right.
People like me. I know the business. And he's like, you know what?
Makes sense.
It does make sense. So he's like, still though, the Russian, man, they
right.
only hire Russians.
I forgot, yeah.
And he goes, they only hire Russians. No disappointment face. I will talk to them. So there's a lot of that, like the broken Russian English speak. It would catch me off guard because I'm like, did I read that right? And then I'm like, oh no, he's talking.
You feel like you had a stroke sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. Like there's a few, let's see where he's talking. You good worker, Gavin. Loyal. I appreciate that. You write about retirement. I am tired. You know Russian bosses, elders distrustful, old school. So yeah.
So like fantasy and sci-fi will kind of do stuff like that where it's hard to understand. Like I don't know how to explain that. Like,
go ahead, try. Because I don't know what you're talking about. No. Just what, like, the way they speak, like the dialect of their weird world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It makes it hard to read. So, like,
when it's
the
in
weird
print.
broken. Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking, like, what? Game of Thrones isn't hard
because,
to...
like, the Ring World I talked about, in that the alien speaks in a very halted and
like,
jolting way where it's like broken English, and it's sometimes like I felt like I was having a seizure.
Yeah, you're like, am I reading this?
Yeah,
Did
I would
read
keep
that?
going back. And
Did I skip a bunch of articles?
They mean him to sound like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's how he's supposed to sound. Yeah. So he tells them, don't worry, I'll ask the Russian bosses. We'll see what's up. And he's like, hey, go to cabin 2. There's a bunch of people making noise. Tell them to shut up. Mm-hmm. So he goes, hey, who's in cabin 2? And they say, Alicia. So he goes in there, and I don't want to get super vulgar, but there's like 3 dudes in there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, only 2 clients in here at one time. And they're all chanting, suck dick. Mm-hmm. And he starts pushing them away, and he sees Alicia giving one guy head. Uh-huh. And all his buddies are cheering. So he like starts punching people. And they're smiling, and she gets mad. So she's like, fuck off, man. Yeah. He's like, but what they're doing, she's like, I'm doing what they're doing what I'm allowing them to do. Yeah. I'm making money for home, remember? Yeah. And then she tells him to leave. So he's pretty bummed. Now Boria, the boss, is like yelling at him. Uh-huh. He's like, dude, you just asked me to run this place, and you upset one of our best clients. Yeah. I think they made a Russian dude made a racist comment about him being Saudi princes or something. Oh, yeah. So they were Saudi. But he was just being racist about it. But he's talking shit, and he's like, those are some of our best clients. Yeah, they're a little crazy. You should have just told them to be quiet.
Yeah.
You blew it. Like, you know, what does he say here? Open eyes. This is not Broadway, not Cats. Girls Club. We offer hot girls.
Yeah.
And he tells them to get out. So he goes up to him and he has to apologize to these guys. And they're just still being kind of douchey. They're like, hey, man, we were big fans of you when we were young, dude. We love you. Can I get a selfie? And you could see him just kind of like he's imagining like his head exploding. And he does not look happy in the selfie.
Yeah.
So he has to take Alicia to the doctor again. And she's like, hey, sorry about yesterday. Sorry I had to yell. And he just kind of, you know, like scoffs at her. And dude, she blows up. She's like, fuck you, man. You're going to judge me for that? I'm trying to make money for my family. And you're going to judge me? She's like, you're a killer.
Yeah.
And then he's like, shit, yeah, she's right. Like, I am a killer. He goes up to that billboard that Damager was on, the new one, and he just punches it. The whole billboard just collapses and falls down. It shows more underneath, but I didn't get it in the picture. But he messes it up. So this part is weird. He gets in a hoodie on, and he goes, I need to use my talents for finding and searching. And he goes out here, and he finds those drunk dudes again, and he beats the shit out of them. And they're like, please, man, stop hitting me. I'm your fan. Like, and he was even like, man, these guys grew up reading Damager comics. He's like, it's not my problem. And you see him stumble back in his bathroom later. I don't know if he killed him. I don't know if he just beat the shit out of him.
Right.
But he stumbles in his bathroom, pops a bunch of pills, and passes out. When he wakes up the next day, Boria is calling him, telling him not to come in. He's like, the elders shut down the club. I don't know what to do. We're done.
Yeah.
Have a good one, basically.
Whoa.
And he's like, what happened with the girls? He's like, they're done. That's it.
Yeah.
He's like, bye. He hangs up. So now this is a really big fear of mine. This is scary stuff to me. Is he's in a bar, you know, he asks where Death Wisher is. He's not here right now. And he goes, he's having this thought process of like, okay, these women are just merchandise to these guys.
Yeah.
And they're just going to get, who knows where they're going to go?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen to these poor women? Now that is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Kidnapping, trafficking.
Exactly.
It's so scary.
It just happens so
I watched,
easy for somebody like that.
Especially women, yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying, man. It makes me so sad. There was a movie called Spartan with Val Kilmer, and it showed that and Taken showed how scary that shit is.
I don't remember Spartan. I remember the movie coming out.
It was
I don't
weird.
remember much about it.
It was really weird. There was a lot of...
It wasn't what I thought it was
you had
to
to
be.
You had to understand what was happening, but it was hard to understand what was happening sometimes.
It was different than I thought it was going to be.
Very weird lingo. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. And then I watched it, and dude, they're showing her going from a random empty hotel room to a Connex box to, oh man, terrifying, bro. You never know where you're ending up. Oh, it's scary. Oh man. So he's sitting there thinking about all this, and he's starting to get upset, and he's like, okay, so what does he figure out? He says... Boria said, no more shows. People don't want dancers. They want whores, torture porn, all that crap. The elders can do what they want to them. They're erasing all their traces, and they'll need to arrange an operation. They don't have enough forces in Detroit. They need to hire people. He said they need to hire people like me. So he starts his thought process gets to Morning Blade. So he goes to Death Wisher, and he's like, hey, where is he? Who does he work for? And he's like, oh, man, I don't know. And this fool just like, it looks like he just kind of walks through the door, but it busts off its chain and hinges as he just walks through his huge frame. And he's like, you have to tell me there are lives at stake. People are going to die. Tell me. So he's like, I don't know shit. And he throws him in the chair, and he starts like, he gets his hands and starts digging into his arms to the point where he actually makes him bleed and like, yeah, so he starts screaming, and he tells them that it's a Russian import company called Nevsky Imports. So he says they work at the docks, lost somewhere in all those Connex boxes. Like, go find them. And he's like, thanks, man. He's like, listen, they're hiring thugs, crooks, even people like us. They tried to hire me, but they said I was too out of shape. They wouldn't take me. So Morning Blade is there. So it's a pretty cool part. He's like, I had to find out where the company was located, but the man in the office was didn't argue with my arguments. It just shows him he's just dead or beat up on the floor. So he just kicked the shit out of him, and then
he's laying in the shape of a chalk outline. Is the best way to describe it.
He was. Now this
Even
part,
if he's not dead, he was laying in the chalk
he was.
outline.
Yeah, he was, right. So this part is hardcore, man. He rolls up and there's like 7 or 8 dudes, and they have bats, chains. This dude has a pry bar. Dude, those long, those like 3
so
foot.
heavy.
Oh my God.
I remember whenever we were pulling up the deck.
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah.
pry bar would slightly glance off of whatever.
Yeah.
Hurt so bad.
Yeah, it just hits your shin. You're just, you just barely ping. Oh my God. Getting cracked in the dome with that, it's going to skronk you up something fierce, bro.
All the way skronked up.
All right, so he shows up, bunch of dudes, so he's like, let's do this. He pulls out one of those, those steel rods that extend. The baton with the little ball on the end.
Yeah.
So he pulls that out, and he's got brass knuckles. And, dude, the fight is brutal. I took one shot of it. Check that out.
Ooh,
and he's
good.
not fighting these dudes. He's killing these men. There's one, there's an eyeball just in the air right there.
Nice. Those fighting instruments kind of look familiar to me for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe they're littered throughout a house you've been in before. So, dude, he goes off. He's slamming this dude into the ground with his brass knuckles. He kicks the shit out of all of them, and he's like, I'm the fucking damager. Let's do this. So he's psyched. Like, he's kind of loving it, right? So it cuts to this little special issue. It's Special Agent Carfay from the Experimental Armament Recovery Unit. So she's chasing this bag. It's like 2 panels, or 2 pages. She's chasing this guy called The Truth, or Plain Truth. So she follows him in this room, and this is black and white, so it's the past. And he says, remember my lesson. We were born alone, fight alone, and we die alone. So she's talking about how only
one of those things is true, though.
What?
Being born alone, because your mom's definitely there.
Yeah.
Fighting alone. Who you fighting if you're alone?
You can fight yourself, man.
And dying alone can happen, but
most of the time
there's usually someone there too.
Ruin the comic, man. No. So that's his lesson.
Yeah.
And so she says, I heard rumors that he was a weapons smuggler now, so I pressed his old contacts, got some info, chased him down, and he's his war is now on the internet forums. He's just some old man
internet warrior
with an oxygen tank, just talking shit online all day. And she said, he was barely a troll. The mask he used to wear, it was a white mask that said truth on it. It looked weird, bro.
Yeah.
It was a weird mask. Look, I thought it was for the comic, but that was his mask.
That's his actual mask.
Yeah, so she comes in and he's like, "You're Stone Fist." This is where we learn her actual name, because remember, Death Wisher was like, "Yeah, it's Stone something." So you actually learn it in her little issue over here that her name is Stone Fist. And he says, "Oh, you're still a tool of the state," and he can't afford his treatment, so he just let it happen. He says, if the price of individual freedom is my death, I can accept it. Remember my lesson. And she said, born alone, fight alone, die alone. You got it. Congrats. And then that was the end. I thought that was dope.
Cool.
I thought that was a cool little, especially 2 pages, and you conveyed something like that.
I think trying to explain that's super hard. But reading comics as much as I do and knowing how you explain things, I'm sure it was way more impactful than you can simply convey in a couple sentences.
I mean, it's that page and that page.
That's 2 pages. Yeah, that's
literally 2 pages.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, I would have to read everything. I didn't want to.
Right. There's a part in mine. Sorry to interrupt. There's a part in mine that's, I guess it takes up quite a bit more than that, but it's so impactful. It's like all I can think about.
Right.
Like just this little tiny part.
Also, I thought it was interesting that's where they said her name. Because I was like, oh, Stone Fist, cool.
Yeah, because they hadn't said it.
No, you didn't know who she was.
That's cool.
Or you didn't know her superhero name.
Right, so they do a little reveal.
You know she's kind of a badass. Stone Fist, this is her nemesis, bad guy that she dealt with when she was a superhero, you know? So I always liked that. I always thought, like in Watchmen, when he goes to see the weird ear dude, I was always like, that's cool. Moloch
or whatever, yeah.
I was like, that enemies talking, I love that.
That was amazing.
Like, I love it when Batman and Joker just have a conversation. It's really cool. Like, I'm super intrigued by those dynamics. So, like,
the times they've teamed up, Batman and Joker, have been, like, some of the most popular comics, like, ever.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is issue 3. And these are really short issues. I'm just going into quite a bit of detail.
Okay, cool.
And I guess we'll do the is our segment. How are the faces? They're all right. I mean, they're not
super detailed, but they look okay to me.
Like his face is very detailed because he's the focus of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge fan of the art.
Kind of
I can't really explain it, but I just
square heads, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. Just look, it's not bad.
Not square heads, just big heads.
It's just not my favorite as far as the faces go.
Yeah.
The art is cool overall.
I didn't mind it. Yeah.
The fighting was cool. Like I said, his face is very expressive. But not my favorite. I have really nothing to complain about. But just it's
fine.
It's their
They're
faces.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't turn me off enough to go, I'm not reading this.
Yeah. No, they weren't.
They weren't so good that I'm like, great.
Yeah, when I looked at them just a second ago, they didn't stand out as crazy and would bother me. Honest, that's for sure.
Right?
They're
no, they don't bother me at all.
Nah.
So yeah, that was our segment. How are the faces? So this is 3rd issue.
Okay.
Now, as he was kicking the shit out of those other dudes, those regular guys, 3 superheroes come up.
Ah, shit.
And he's retired superheroes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank God.
And he's like, Death Wisher said they were hiring them. They're just out of shape. So it's this big fat dude, like a trucker guy.
Yeah.
This older black woman in like athletic like sweatpants and a long sleeve shirt.
Like,
and then there's this
almost
tiny Italian looking dude, and he's got like blades. It looks like icicles. They're some kind of blade. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's his superpower or what.
A suit,
but they don't have superpowers.
Okay. They were like the soldier
it's just,
guys, kind of.
Exactly. It's just talent, I guess. But seems like it does.
And
maybe.
Gear and talent.
Because so basically why I said it's like blades or something, he gets hit with like 15 of them in his back. So he's fighting these 3, and he gets just skewered with all these little blades that this dude has. And then the trucker guy does shoot flames or some kind of energy out of his mouth.
Oh, that's cool looking.
So he gets pinned down. He's in a Connex box. He has one door open, blocking the trucker guys the power, and then a bunch of other workers, regular guys, or I guess henchmen. They come up on the other side and start shooting.
To know.
So he has both doors open, and he said something about I had to make a call before I went to the dockyard. A call I didn't want to make. And so he has the wrist-mounted plasma gun. And he's like, I was trying to save this for Morning Blade. I can't use it now. The battery's all wonky and shit. So he does end up using it. He cuts through all 3 of those old superheroes. And then he turns to the other way and just slices through all 6 of the guys shooting at him.
Nice.
I mean, literally cuts them in half. You can see in those bottom 2 panels.
Oh, yeah.
Like cuts them in half, like head. Oh, yeah, that's all the stuff. He just blasts like a clear path through people.
Yeah.
That cannon is no joke. That means Death Wisher was fucking shit up back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's why he's like, shit, I'm keeping this.
Yeah.
His retirement, he's got triple hip surgery and diabetes. He should have sold that
retired.
thing. Yeah, for real. So there's 2 guys, and there's one guy, he's like, what's happening over there? Because it's this giant pink light.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry about it. We have a job to do here.
Don't worry about it.
So it shows a Connex box full of girls. And he goes, this one's tough right here. So someone comes up with a needle, and it's Alicia, and they're shooting her up again. So she starts passing out. The last thing she sees before she passes out is the Morning Blade with his... He's got one arm, or he's got one hand, and on the other hand is it's a weird blade. I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, that thing. What is that called?
Oh, God. That's literally like a Japanese cooking knife shape.
Yeah, right.
So it looks almost like an axe blade, but but like it's kind of the shape of
and it's on a dome that fits around his amputated arm.
Yeah, so it's almost like a gaff, or like something you'd use to like stab a fish, or like the knife you would use to cut a fish.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to explain.
I mean, he's a big dude.
He's got a big knife thing.
It's a big old knife. So as Gavin is walking away, you could see the little blades, knives falling out of him. He's been stabbed, he's been punched and hit and shot with that weird energy shit out of that dude's mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's jacked up, man. He's like stumbling over there. He sees the the Connex door closing, and he sees Alicia's hair, like a silhouette of her hair. She has bright white hair, like a Targaryen.
Right.
So he sees her, and he goes up and he sees Morning Blade, and he starts yelling at him. He's like, "Those are lives, man. Those are innocent lives." And Morning Blade just goes, "My job is to stop you."
Yeah.
So he had to ditch the plasma cannon. The battery was low, and it was all broken from its last 2 shots, basically.
Okay.
So he had to drop it. And you could see he's scared. He is like, Morning Blade's about to kick the shit out of me. And I don't think I can win this, but I got to try type thing.
That's cool.
So one of the little nerdy dudes that's rolling with Morning Blade pulls out a gun, and Morning Blade's like, "Nah, it's just me and him. Put the gun up." So they're like, "Yeah, right. Just shoot him. Y'all done.
We're way over here. He's gonna have to run.
Put the girls on the ship and hop on. It's time to
run
go
all the way over here. We can't shoot him on his way over.
But if I was running at you, so these dudes start scrapping. It is a brutal fight, super brutal. They're both getting cut up. Morning Blade's getting punched because Gabin's a beast as well.
Yeah.
So they're and by the end, like near the end, you could see their faces just swollen up. You can't see how their eyes or lips, their noses all jacked up. Like, and they actually do a fun. I don't think I took a picture of it, but they do a cool panel where it's like eye next to his eye, and then his mouth next to his mouth, to where it shows how
all
busted up it is.
That's cool.
So Gabin is down and he's about to die. Morning Blade's about to stab him, cut his head off, and Morning Blade gets shot in the head. And then the other two, the nerdy dudes that were with them, started pulling out their guns, and it's Special Agent Carface. She shoots both of them.
Okay.
So they're dead. And that was the call he made when he said, "I had to make a call I didn't know I would ever make."
Oh, okay.
He told her, "I have a plasma hand cannon here. Come get it."
Yeah.
And then she said, "Why didn't you wait for me?" And he was like, "I didn't know how much time we had. The girls are in there." So everyone's dead. Gabin's gone to the hospital. Okay. Girls got saved.
Oh, I thought the girls died too.
No. They're all good.
Everybody's dead. I was like, damn, I don't remember that part. But
everyone's dead,
sense.
And that's it. No, they're actually happy ending.
Clean break. They're all dead.
They're all dead. Well, my job here is done.
Not a single soul to tell the story. I'm out.
No one knows I was even here. It's just a bloody mess everywhere.
His fingerprints and blood
just
all over
everywhere. His footprints. Probably his face.
He dropped his wallet.
Yeah, right. I'll never have to think about this
again. Clean break. Some would say the perfect crime.
Perfect, and never think about this again.
Where'd my wallet go?
Yeah. Oh, damn, must have dropped it. So he's in the hospital. His ex, Kendra, Avenged Lady, shows up, and she's like, "Hey, this was like a midlife crisis thing, right?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I hope so." And she's like, "Just joking. I know, blah, blah, blah." So they're all cool. Special Agent comes in, and she's like, "Where'd you get the hand cannon?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remembered. I had it." And she was like, "Oh, that's convenient." She's like, "You're pretty loyal, huh?" Because she knows it was Death Wishers.
Yeah.
Like, she knows. So he was like, where's Boria? What happened to him? She's like, "Oh, Boria the Butcher, Korolenko? That dude's insane." They're like, "He has disappeared off the face." They're like, "He's gone."
Oh, shit.
He is absolutely like, I got some information from Interpol, but that dude is ghost.
He's ghosted.
He's very far from here, I guess. So... And Gabin's like, "He looked like a stand-up guy." So he goes, what'll happen to the girls? And she says she has a contact in the federal victims of trafficking women. They'll be taken care of. They can go home. They can stay here. Anything they want, basically. And he's like, "Thank you." And she's like, "Thank you. You actually did something here. Blah, blah, blah. You're a hero." He goes and sees Alicia. She's like, "Hey, I'm going back to Georgia." Not the Russian one. No, she's going back home. She's like, "I actually got enough money, and I've been sending it home, so we're actually okay. So I'm gonna go home. Thank you for being a hero." She gives him a kiss, and this is when he's like, he was thinking like, when you're fighting for a home or someone you love, it's different compared to the soldier lifestyle he did, which is the whole comparison. He saw himself as a soldier where he should have been a superhero.
Yeah,
and saving her and all those girls. That was some superhero shit to him. Yeah. So he's actually okay with himself at this point. Very cool.
That's awesome.
So that's the end of those 3 issues. There's a Death Wisher thing at the end.
Oh, cool.
He's at a bar, and he's getting harassed by these 3 bags. And they're like, you used to be a superhero? They start calling him like, what are you, like a grease, what do they call him? Grease man? They start making fun of him. So he's super fat. They smash a glass bottle over his head, right? So he used to have claws. He punches the glass, stands up, and just punches the dude in the face and like cuts his nose off. Nice. So he's sitting there with shards of glass sticking out of his fist, and he's like, I still got it, baby. So he's like kind of got a little bit of a redemption there. He's like, hell, I can still fuck shit up. We good. So there was a one shot that came out after this.
Okay.
Gavin is in a group. He said if I took your therapy, they were going to knock some time off my parole. Okay. Holy shit. So it looks good with the parole commission. Yeah. So she's like, well, just tell me a story where you had a turning point in your life. What happened? So he goes into, there's we were in a European place. The team was a rotating roster because people died and they would quit because of missions. So he said it was me. I was the damager, my fiance, Avenge Lady, my trigger happy shooter best friend named Ripshot. There was
Ripshot, I like that.
Yeah, there was a girl. I don't know her real well. She was an agent with fire-based powers. Her name is Verifier. Our COO was codename Enforcement. And then there was this weirdo, this crazy guy called The Blow.
The Blow?
The Blow. Okay. And he said, I don't know why they recruited him. He's like an out-of-control vigilante. Oh. But as much as that guy's a weirdo, the handler they had, the middleman between them and the CIA, was a guy named Veery. And this dude, they were just like, something's rotten about him.
Creep. Something.
Right? Oh, yeah, something's just rotten inside. Yeah. He is a bad guy.
It gives you that bad feeling.
Mm-hmm. So Enforcement's like, let's go. It's time to roll out. And Damager says, well, who's our target? You'll know soon enough. Let's go. Damager's already like, man, fuck this. I don't like this. I like when there's a straight line. I'm here. Bad guys are there. Yeah. Let's go. No one's telling me what to do.
That's a soldier mindset. Be like, I just need to know the plan.
Exactly, right? I
don't even need to agree with
Especially
the plan.
running in blind. Who's waiting for us?
Yeah, just
guns? Superheroes? Yeah. Tanks?
Super important information.
Yeah. Monsters? I don't know what's in this world.
You got vampires? I don't know.
Exactly.
Should I watch my neck?
Right. So they bust in. They're in some vague Eastern European country. And they don't know what they're looking for. They encounter some, opposition, and they're basically the Veery, the piece of shit handler, is like, these backwater towns never have enough money to do the things they need to do, but they always have enough to hire these shitty mercenaries. So they have this like super villain team that shows up, and they're guarding something, obviously, because you wouldn't have this whole team. So it's Silicon Eve. Her arms are just crazy, like guns or barrels everywhere.
Oh, they look almost like a fiber optic cables, but like
it looks
solid.
It looks weird, yeah.
That's weird.
So there's the chewer. A guy doesn't have his lips, and he's just all teeth.
Oh, damn.
And there's hentai. She's like this
tentacles.
Blonde girl, all tatted up. With a skirt on, name's hentai. And then there's Skill Claw, which is basically like a mix of Wolverine and Batman and stuff.
Do you remember Rip Claw? Sorry.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do.
Whenever you were saying that other dude's name, it made me think of Rip Claw.
Yeah, Rip Shot. Yeah, Rip Shot, and then Skull Claw. Yeah. So they're fighting all these heroes or these super villains, and he says, they're cutting back to the therapy session where he's like, how did you feel about the level of violence you responded with? And he's like, well, it's war. This is what we're doing. It's going more into like the fact that he was a soldier. Yeah. So they beat the guys. The bad guys end up running away. They're like, listen, our target is 3 clicks from here. We got to go now. Some of them are hurt. And as they're walking away, Enforcement's yelling at him like, don't talk back to me. He gets shot in the shoulder. And then Verifier, the chick, turns around and she gets shot in the head. Oh, yeah. So she's down, Enforcement's down and hurt, and there's this giant, like, crazy tank that's popping over the hill.
They look like Tank Girl's tank.
Yeah, crazy, super goofy, crazy huge. But it's all black and white, so it looks super crazy and raw. So Damagers, says, I just went crazy. I shot every bullet I had, and when I was done, I used my awesome metal arms to tear a hole in this tank, and inside were children. So It was a bunch of children. He says
it was super easy to kill them.
So
all.
yeah, so he's like, very the rotten dude was like, "What are you waiting for? Take care of him." And he's like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah.
Their parents died, and then they found this old mastodon, got in it, and they're fighting for their home.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
he's like, he's like, really like, I'm done with this. What are we doing here? So they go into this room, and enforcement's like, our intel says this is the location in a sanctuary that fits this description. They pull out a casket, a casket, a tomb, basically. Casket, yeah, sorry. And inside is called Malevolent the Hellborn. This is the only dude that actually has magic powers. Okay. Now, people have superpowers.
Yeah, with science.
He has straight
right?
dark, dark black magic.
Okay.
Like, it says his enemies plunged this demon into an eternal coma using his own powers against him.
Nice.
All of them sacrificed their lives in the process, and he was buried 20 feet underground.
Ultra nice.
So Veery wants him, and Damager's like, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. And he's like, just bring him, shut your mouth, stop talking back to me. That dude's a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. What if he fell into the wrong hands, blah, blah, blah. So the Blow is freaking out because Verifier got shot in the head, and he had the hots for her. So Enforcement's like, get your shit together, we're leaving. So they all meet up with Veery, and Damager just punches the shit out of him, and he's like, I quit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know why I said that. I never really quit. I had to keep doing it, and blah, 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 right? So basically he's stuck being this soldier. Even back then he was like, this isn't right. And nothing came of Malevolent. So this is the end of all their comics. I'm curious if it's supposed to go. It's that Behemoth comic company that did Quad. I believe, which they're now Sumerian. So I can't find any info on this. Like, it doesn't exist.
Damn, that sucks.
So at the end, they have funny little comics. It's this dude and woman on the beach, and the man goes, hey, stop playing sports and doing manly things. And the woman goes, it's not that bad, Mac. The man says, isn't this beach big enough for you, oppressor? She goes, gee, sorry, buddy. He says, she would respect me if I had more muscles and veins. And she says, I'm so tired of this relationship. The man is saying, I'm sure I'll find the solution into my old problems in these old comic book ads. After that dangerous treatment, I look just like my teenage power fantasies. So he found an ad, and he's super jacked now. And the next panel, he goes, feel the power of the plasma holocaust, and he's killing everyone. And it says, success or stroke guaranteed. Let me prove that you can be the man this new era needs, because good old manhood is never misinterpreted. Mr. Extremity, that's this guy.
Oh my God.
He's so jacked, ridiculously jacked. It looks so silly.
Pop.
All the veins, it's so
it looks like
gross.
He's gonna pop.
So he says, here's the kind of body I want, and it's a checklist. Disproportionate chest and shoulders, cyber legs without apparent purpose, ultra slimmer waist, absurd energy and stamina, violent and reckless personality. Please send me a CD of your famous system showing how the vein bursting method can make me an ultra new, reborn, and gargantuan colossus of raw power.
Oh my God.
It also has a read Malevolent comics. Because when everything else fails, you have a cheaper option. Buy our new monthly comic book. We spend a lot on covers.
Nice.
And then there was one more. Join the Damager fan club. The characters everyone in the copyright law firms are talking about. Young mutant Ronin lizards. And it's basically Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's good.
Young mutant Ronin lizards, yeah. The back of the comic was insane. I wasn't expecting all that.
That's
so,
awesome.
The story was cool, man.
Yeah.
Super localized. Very chill. Just this guy dealing with it. Very cool.
Just high enough stakes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a bunch of women getting shipped off in a container. That's pretty hardcore, but it's not end of the world.
Lasers in the sky. Luckily.
Exactly. And that's what I liked about it, is that it was very focused, very plot-driven, too.
It was obtainable.
Because we met Alicia. We thought she was cool. I felt for her. She's trying to get money and get back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he saved a bunch of those girls' lives, and he kicked some ass while he was doing it.
It
was a dope comic book. My only complaint, though, and I have to say this, there were so many parts that they were missing words. Or, like, when she said, is this a midlife crisis? And he said, I hope so. It said, I hope no.
Really?
A lot of that.
So the editorial staff didn't do their due diligence.
A lot of missing articles, words, and not the Russian stuff, just missing words. I noticed it a few times throughout the comic to the point where I noticed it.
Yeah.
You know, when you got that many, I'm like, man,
that's technically on the editorial staff.
Right? Yeah. It's not him, but I was like, that's like 4 or 5 times I've noticed this. But other than that, dude, it was a great read.
Yeah.
I love the 3 issues and then the one shot. Awesome.
I know you do.
Everyone should do that.
Hell yeah. It's a good way to start.
Yeah, dude. No, it totally is. I wonder if it's supposed to continue, though. Because they introduced Death Wisher and Stone Fist, like
probably. The first 3 weren't, and then the add-on was the one that you said it seemed like they kind of wanted to continue it.
Well,
the one shot or whatever.
The one shot just seemed like a one shot. That was just him in therapy.
Oh, okay.
But the first 3 issues, I mean, it ended. It said end.
Yeah.
But you introduced Death Wisher,
True.
and you showed him like I still got it.
That makes it possible to continue.
Exactly. So without it continuing, it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like I have no problem with it being done there. I got the full story, and it was great.
Hell yeah. So you got I got K, and I was like, all right, Matt's going to have a hard time with you.
Nope.
And I'm going to have an easy time with K. And I did. So there's no twist. It was super easy.
Mine was easy, too.
Yeah, I didn't even get far down the alphabet again. Mine's K-A. So I just, beginning of the alphabet.
you like so many more things than me.
Yeah, true.
You know, you're way more open to that. So you don't really leave the immediate things you find.
It doesn't. And also, I'm not picky. As soon as anything grabs me at all.
You're like, that one.
That one. I don't check to see if it finishes. I don't check to see if I really like the story. I usually don't know nothing about the story.
Yeah, I don't know that, but I have to know it ends. I'll do mad research to be like, I'll go to the comic site and check. Oh, is it 1 through 4? Okay, this is 1 through 5. Got it.
Yeah. So this one I got is called Kaijumax. So like
Kaijumax.
Is it? I think it's all one word. Let me scroll up.
Kaijumax.
Yeah. It's all one word. So Kaijumax, this world is amazing. This is an amalgamation of all kaiju tropes and also like Ultraman tropes and Power Man tropes and Power Rangers and Super Sentai and just a bunch of giant monster suit monsters and brawlers. Yeah. So Japanese mostly, but also includes American monsters as well.
Oh, nice.
So we got
what are some of the American?
Like the Goat Man or whatever. Like what's it?
Bigfoot.
He's like the New Jersey Devil. He's like the Jersey Devil.
Oh, okay.
He's a big goat man, and he's not even violent. And a lot of these guys, they classify him as like non-violent or anti-heroes, or they call them Earth parables or power parables. So like there's a lot. There's
a rating system. That's cool.
Yeah. There's all sorts of. So like this Kaijumax is a giant island, a very large island, a fairly large island that acts as this world's prison for giant monsters.
Cool.
So giant monsters can live in this world peacefully and do. There's plenty of them. There's a good number of monsters that live out in the world and have jobs, like construction jobs. They're like, you know what I mean? They're out there doing stuff because they're big and strong. Right. And so whenever they mess up, they go and kill a town. Or our goat guy, what's his name? I have it written down here. Did I not? Oh, the creature from Devil's Creek. He's our goat guy. People got scared of him and ran away, and they accidentally killed themselves.
They hurt themselves.
They died. They died running away from him, and they blamed him for that. So he's here at this prison for that. He didn't do jack shit.
Free the goat man.
So, like, the dude who wrote this, his name is Xander Cannon. He did the art. He wrote it. He did the colors. He pretty much did everything.
Cool.
I think he did covers, everything.
I saw some of the art. It was cool.
This whole, let's do like faces right now. Since the art is so insanely simple, and actually most of the characters are Asian. It's actually, and they're wearing literally, whenever they're wearing their normal prison guard uniform, they're all wearing the exact same thing, basically. Yeah. So the faces in this are basically impossible. The chick looks the same as the dude because they're wearing the same helmet, the same outfit. Yeah. So in this world, the prison guards are humans that push their chest and turn into Ultraman, so they get the size of a kaiju.
I was gonna say how they prisons. Yeah,
that's how they guard and police these kaiju prisoners.
Nice.
So this comic's by Oni Press. The trade paperback that I read came out in 2018. So the one I had is they had two trade paperbacks, but they're both huge, a bunch of issues each. Like I don't know, 20 issues each, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Maybe more. It's a lot. I read 5 or 6, and it was not the end of any storyline. I just didn't want to read 20,
right,
or whatever.
Yeah.
So the author of this, the trade paperback version I have, at the bottom of almost every page, there's notes, like author's notes. Talking about all the subtle references from kaiju films and Super Sentai, and all the minor references that I definitely yes, I would have never picked up on 99% of the stuff.
Really? The references?
Yeah, he had
he's got some deep lore.
Every single, not panel, but every single page has just ton. He's like, this monster is from Ultraman. This monster's from Gamera. This is you know what I mean? He's like deep in it. So like our main character's name is Electro Gar. He was out gaining.
He's a kaiju.
Yeah, he's a male kaiju. He has 2 sons, or no, a son and a daughter. So he's got offspring. He got in trouble because he was out. He feeds on electricity, so he was chewing on a power line in the ocean. Yeah, because he needed to get energy to feed his kids. So he wasn't doing anything even that bad at all.
Right.
But he got in trouble for doing that, and they came and arrested him, basically, and took him to this Kaijumax, Supermax prison so he is just
What's
a good
his name
guy.
Again?
Electro Gar.
Free Electro Gar.
Yeah, he looks
and
like
Goatman.
He kind of looks like a prawn, or like a mix between like Godzilla and a grasshopper, kind of.
You have no idea what's happening up here when you said that.
Right. Godzilla grasshopper combo. And then we got our creature from Devil's Creek all getting brought in at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So the author, I know this because of the author notes. So this is like a huge parable for just like racism and like classism and the way our prison systems work in general. And he wanted it to be very he wanted to mean a lot.
So some heavy themes on some bubbly, bright, pretty kaiju
even
stuff.
The wording, he used kaiju words instead of, they have like their version of the N-word that they use all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's like all these other slurs for the different kinds of kaiju. Like the ones like him, they call them cloakers because they have cloacas.
Whoa.
Like cloacas, like a lizard.
Yeah.
So like they call them cloakers. And yeah. And
only we can say that word.
Right. So there's in this prison there's 4 gangs. There's the J-Pops, which are like your regular kaiju, like Japanese style Godzilla monsters. Then you got the Cryptid Brotherhood, which is like the devil,
the monster monsters.
The weird,
scary monsters.
Yeah, like
right?
Folklore type monsters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that's more like our stuff.
They have a giant, like a giant Bigfoot baboon cross type thing. Right. And then we have the space cases, which would be like Space Godzilla or Aliens, Alien Kaiju, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then they also have the Nation of Mecha, which is the mechas, where they're a stand-in for like the Nation of Islam, basically.
Okay.
And they preach all the time. They're the like
the monsters do the kaiju.
They're the Mecha Kaiju. Okay. So the robots, the big robots, are all part of the same religion.
Okay.
And it's like a parable for like Islam in prison, and all they walk around preaching to everybody like, we don't need to fight, like if we work together, it's like normal stuff.
Okay.
And so like it's everything in this is very.
You said they're wearing clothes?
No. Oh, some people like
you see one right now?
Guy.
Let me, hold on.
Yeah.
I need to see him.
Yeah. Look, this is a perfect cross section of kind of what you get. So those would be your those would be your like cryptids. And then that's like a kaiju, like a J-pop style one.
Right.
And that one probably is J-pop as well. Or it's Gamera.
Space, bro.
It's Gamera, so it's space. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the flying turtle, man.
Yeah.
Man, I thought Goatman was gonna look big and scary. He's tiny and
scared.
chubby.
So he's the stand-in for the weak character in prison. So he's like this 18-year-old who, I stole some candy and it was my 4th offense, so I'm here in big boy prison. Big boy prison. I'm just going to say it like that. Yeah. We'll say it that way.
Someone Dale and Tucker when they saw me and, and now I'm in jail.
Ran into a wood chipper head first. So like Electro Gar is our main character that's coming into prison. And then we got the little goat guy, are like kind of our two main characters. They both like get approached immediately. You don't see what happens exactly to the goat guy, but somebody burns him. Oh. They do a chin check on him. They call it a fire check here, so they fire it on him and see what he would do. And then Electro Gar goes, "Did you fight back?" And he goes, "No." And he was like, "Oh no, dude." He was like, "Good." No, he was like, "That was the entire point." He was like, "I'm new. I've never been to prison before, but I'm pretty sure that was a bad move." Is kind of what Electro Gar, because Electro Gar's smart. He immediately went on in the intake. He's like, "I didn't do nothing. Let me go. I got to go get my children and save my children alone." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you got kids? Where they at?" So he has to instantly be like, "Oh wait, no, I don't have children," or whatever, because they're like trying to bring his kids there. They want to bring his kids to a supermax prison, basically.
Oh, that's fucked up.
And they hadn't done anything. They didn't even know they existed, but they were gonna justify it somehow. Right. So we learned that all the prison is just as corrupt as it would be in the real world. Right. So so like basically the warden is only kind of corrupt. He's not really like letting them like bring a bunch of drugs and stuff in or anything.
Just some drugs.
He's just like, he'll look the other way a little bit as long as most stuff is going good. Right. Basically, like
they got kaiju drugs.
Dude, so there's kaiju versions of everything in this world.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I'm barely going to talk about the story. There's only a couple points in the story that I even want to mention.
Yeah, I want to know about this world.
But the world. Okay, so
so cool.
Like I said, I have all the info from the author down at the bottom, and he points out this one scene as being like the thing that caught people into this first issue. And it's a scene where they're in prison, and it does a close-up on a monster, and he's knocking a building over, and then you see him bring it back and then knock it over again. It's their gym.
He's working out.
So they're all in the gym knocking buildings over on like machine
versions, awesome.
And they're doing like workouts with like trucks and stuff. And he was like, this is like, I got a lot of comments saying, because this is the trade paperback obviously came out way after the original issues came out. So he had time to get feedback.
Oh, and people to see it. Yeah.
So he had got to hear what people were.
I have a Godzilla little painting.
Yes, it's here.
It's here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have it. Yeah, he's like eating buildings and
with
boats,
the chopsticks.
Ships as sushi.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool.
Hell yeah.
It's reminding me of that.
So this world...
What if it's the same guy?
So this world, like you were saying, drugs. I'm glad I didn't forget this. So their drugs get brought in by by one of the staff. I think it's Gupta. Gupta's one of the...
Gupta,
He's like the only non-Korean, non-Japanese person at this job. He's Indian.
Regular dude.
He's Gupta. He's a regular dude who can turn into the
giant.
I
got it. But there are regular guys.
They're regular humans.
Are they always in their Ultraman?
No.
They're always in
their
suit? Most of the time,
they're in their regular form. They'll be like yelling at the prisoners from like a dot in the ground. Like, hey, you big ugly bastard. They'll call him all the derogatory slurs and stuff.
Nice, of course.
Okay, so Gupta brings in the drugs because he's in debt to a mob boss lady. So that's why, just like in all prison movies, he's in
there's
debt.
A boss.
There's a reason why he's bringing in the drugs. So he brings in smokestacks, which are like their weed or cigarettes.
Yeah.
So it's a smokestack like you'd get from a factory. Uranium is one of their is their heroin.
Oh.
Uranium's their heroin. Electricity is like booze or weed kind of to them. Maidens or virgins, you pop those like pills. So like, cause
virgin,
like humans, little human virgin ladies, like wearing like princess outfits and stuff.
Yeah,
they'll pop them like pills. Like mob boss's son is in this prison, so Gupta has to take care of him. He's like kind of in debt to his mom or whatever.
Right.
So he isn't supposed to give him uranium. The mob boss mom was like, "Don't let my son have uranium." And so he would give him the virgins instead. He would always complain about it. He goes, "Man, these shits don't even get me fucked up or nothing, man. What the hell?" He goes, "I barely feel a buzz." He goes, "You get it this or nothing, or you can have smokestacks or electricity or whatever else, but I ain't got the uranium." And he'd be like, "All right, man." He'd pop a couple virgins and be like, feeling all right, I guess.
I'm all right.
It's like beans to heroin.
Those versions were strong.
It's like beans to heroin or something. I don't know. But and they all there's a electric grid that keeps them on the island, and they'll tap into it so they can take little hits of electricity. Right. And
some little hey. Stop smoking that shit, or whatever they're doing.
Guards on the way, or whatever. Yeah. So there's cell blocks where like they have to go, and like the mechas have their own part of the prison.
Are they in buildings?
No, they have craters.
Sections. Okay.
They have craters where it's their cell. A crater is like a cell.
Nice.
And there's whole sections of the island. There's a cool map in it that I'm definitely gonna put on the YouTube video that shows the entire island. It's breakdown where stuff is. That's cool. Awesome. It's awesome.
I love it when books do that.
So like I said, all the humans are basically corrupt as hell for one reason or another. Some are bringing in drugs. Some of them beat up the kaiju when they don't listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The nurse ends up, I'm just going to say this now, the nurse ends up having like a relationship with one of the kaiju who's like a stand-in for like, I guess like Space Godzilla or just Godzilla, I guess, would be this.
I was curious if there was a straight Godzilla.
So like this, I'm gonna get into this guy's. His name's Zon, Zonn. He's like Space Godzilla, kind of like I said. So he's introduced. Two of the guards get tasked with a task that they normally don't do. They have to go out and actually capture the people. There's supposed to be another team on the outside that captures them, brings them to our guys who are just guards. Like in the real world, the guards don't go catch the bad guys. Right. Guards watch the bad guys. So they get tasked with a task they're not used to. They're going out being cops instead of prison guards. Mm-hmm. So they're going out to do that. I think it was Zhong, maybe, or maybe it was... Yeah, I think it was Zhong. Yeah, it was Zhong. And Gupta, maybe. And they go out to like a drug lab raid. It's a sulfur mine. Yeah. So it's like a meth lab. It's their version of a meth lab. They do sulfur.
And it's on this island?
Yeah, no. That's what I mean. They had to leave to go do something that they're not normally. There's usually, real world cops.
Yeah, that would bring them. Got it. Okay.
So it's weird for them to have to do this. So they show up, and the one guy spots Zon and tackles him, and then our guy Zhong. He goes to another guy, and another guy's running, and he like chops his head off with a laser gun. Basically, they were supposed to capture him. Right. You know what I mean? So he chops his head off with a laser gun, kind of accidentally, but kind of on purpose. He feels super bad about it. The rest of the comic that I've read, he is like depressed about it, and he basically has like PTSD from it.
Yeah.
So all the themes in this comic are heavy themes.
Seems like
all throughout it. There's like I'm about to get into it. I'll get to it when I get to it. They go out and they capture Zon and kill this other guy. So they bring Zon back. So Zon is like kind of a big deal, obviously, in this world. So there's a Mecha Zon who's one of the Mecha Brotherhood or whatever, and his whole design was to kill. The whole point of him was to kill Zon,
which is most of the mechas.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And he couldn't. He failed trying to kill Zon, and now he's like taking a vow of like nonviolence.
Okay.
So him showing up sends off all his meters and boop 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 boop,
right?
Targeting, and he has to like suppress it. And Zon even comes up, and this is we get the first taste of what kind of guy Zon is. He's like, "What's up, Mecha Zon?" And he starts talking. And goes, "Remember the last time we saw me and I like just beat your ass and you did nothing about it? You remember that?" And Mecha Zon's like holding back like big time. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, okay, you ain't going to do nothing about that, huh? I'm just going to be able to do whatever I want. And he's like, yeah, man, whatever. And he kind of walks away, and he's like making fun of him. Zon is.
Zon.
And then we get the next scene, which is Electrogar, which is, I haven't talked a lot about him, but he's our main character.
Main guy, right.
He's at the waterfalls, which is their shower.
Nice.
So Electrogar is at the shower, showering, and Zon walks up and immediately introduces himself. He's like, hey, I'm Zon, I'm new. And they start talking, and he's like, I heard you got kids, like, that's fucked, like, make sure you keep them safe, blah, blah, blah. He's, like, ingratiating himself to Electrogar immediately. Electrogar's like, thanks, man, I appreciate it, and he's talking. Then all of a sudden, it cuts, like, a close-up to Electrogar's face, and it goes, wham, like, Electrogar Electrogar gets hit in the back of the head really hard, it expresses it extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, it's very obvious what happens. Like, something hard hits
brutal.
Electrogar. So then Electrogar kind of comes to, and he like is able to open his eyes a little bit, and Zahn's like already on him, like talking like, yeah, don't move, bitch, don't say anything.
Yeah.
You better not squirm or whatever. And then he uses his like tail. So this is how they like kept it from being like,
oh my
X.
God, that's
he
what they
pulls
did.
his tail out, which has got a spike on the end, and it keeps hitting Electrogar because he's got a exoskeleton. He's kind of like a bug almost.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps hitting him kind of in the shoulder area.
It's like a shank
until it's his tail, like stand in for his wiener, and it goes in it. Pierces his shell and then goes in and starts pumping.
So they did penetrate.
He full on impregnates Electrogar.
What?
With its babies. Yeah, bro.
Weird.
So for the next like
that's weird.
So I'm gonna keep this story keeps going.
20 issues. I bet you this gets weirder.
Bro, this is only like 6 issues in. Not what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna talk about is only 6 issues.
Oh my God. Okay.
So like other little things happen, but I'm gonna continue with this essay storyline because it is the main storyline.
It's like Shawshank Redemption.
It's the main part. So for the next like I don't know how many issues, a couple issues, Electrogar's like sick and like depressed and got PTSD and literally got hurt as well, not just mentally, but got stabbed. So he starts talking. The nurse lady starts talking to him about, you need to open up. I'll help you. Blah blah blah. And he's like, Zahn did it. Whatever. Blah blah blah. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then Zahn, like, rocks up, like, right after. No. He refuses to say who it is. And then Zahn runs into the nurse lady when she's tried to save one of the kaiju and dies. So she's all depressed and feeling bad. Zahn rocks up and, like, seduces her in, like, 2 sentences. And the author talks about it. He goes, I had a lot more. It made a lot more sense for her to be seduced so instantly. He goes, but I had to cut it down. He explains why. So you already saw him do that. You don't want this to go the way it's going.
Like, I don't want to
see this. You don't want to see him happy in any way. You don't want to see her getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very off-putting even for me. I was like, this is gnarly.
Even though it's like cute, bubbly dinosaurs.
So, yes. And then eventually he's like, it's Zahn that did it to me, blah, blah, blah. And Zahn makes up a whole story and tells the lady, like, oh, he seduced me and we had consensual sex, blah, blah, blah. And so next time the lady sees him, Electrogar is like, yeah, Zahn did this or whatever, and she's like, I know you're lying. All of you, she doesn't. She says, she doesn't say social justice warrior, but their version of that. Always do this. You're always lying about good men or good monsters who are just anti-heroes. You're all lying about it. So he gets victim blamed, and she beats him up because he keeps insisting that that's what happened.
The nurse beats him up?
The female nurse is giant. She beats the shit out of him. Just fucking whoops him. And he's like, you saw. He punctured. You saw. Like, you saw my injury. She was like, you wanted it. It was so off-putting. It hurt my soul reading this.
This
bro.
got real heavy.
I just, like I said, I'm not even to the 6th friggin' issue.
I'm glad you went second.
So right. So I'm gonna kind of finish up that little bit of a story, and then I'm gonna talk a little more. So later on, like I said, it's quite a few issues of him like itching and feeling bad and scratching, and at one point they're like about to escape, basically. And he goes, and it's like really hurting him. And he scratches a lot and rips like a big chunk of his exoskeleton on his shoulder off where it was injured. And a little mini Zahn baby, like in like a embryo sac type thing, falls out onto the ground. And the dude he's escaping with goes, dude, what the fuck is that? And he goes, Gah! And stomps the little embryo baby. Instantly. Like, the dude didn't even finish saying, what is that? And Electrogar just stomps it, and he goes, we're getting the fuck out of here. And then him and his homie, the Green Humongo, escape and get the hell out of there. So they escape the island. They use Electrogar's uranium that he grows on his back that he'd been selling to. Oh, I didn't say that's where they were getting uranium.
It was from him.
Electrogar created uranium on his back. And when he first got there, he didn't even know people did it as a drug or whatever. So they informed him of it, and so he like had a little bit of pull.
Like, oh, I got that.
So they used it. Green Humongous was a genius. He was the one that would rig up the electricity and whatnot.
Right.
And he'd be able to make sulfur. The goat guy kept getting abused and whatnot and taken advantage of. Not so much essaying, but just every other way, like making him crash out,
treated like shit,
making him go stab people, or the worst jobs in prison, basically. And so, like I said, every part of this gets rough and real, and you have to see the art to understand how crazy the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
The YouTube video is, I always say it, but on this one is especially crucial to understand the kind of bubbly, adorable webcomic-y style art.
That's what's surprising me, is because I've seen the art, and then hearing you say all this, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So, we're getting towards the end of what I read.
Thank God.
So, Electro Guard and Green Humongous get out, and they're gone. They escape, and they go to Red Humongous, which is Green Humongous' like brother or something, cousin. They don't really explain it. But he's a legit monster, meaning he's got a job with a big briefcase, and like he goes to work, and I think he moved trains from one side to I don't remember. He had like a legit job.
I want more of that.
So they show up at his house as fugitives, and he's pissed. It's like every prison stereotype movie book is represented in this
that
comic.
Guy is
so
what
he's
are you
representative
here?
of the guy who used to fuck around, and whenever they escape they always go to the guy who used to fuck around, but now he's got a wife.
I got a job
now. I can't do that. I got a job. And they're like, what a pussy, that sort of stuff. So they show
changed,
up,
man.
Yeah, they show up and they kind of kind of demanding, like, hey, we need your help, blah blah blah. And he's like, no bro, I got work, like blah, blah, blah. So like this is where I'm gonna end with the story part. So it just opens up from there. I scrolled a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Where does it go from there?
So I know their storyline obviously still back at, I think they
prison?
get recaptured.
Probably.
But I did see places that weren't the prison, or places that I didn't recognize as a prison further along.
Okay.
So I know there's some other areas used. In it, I skipped over this part. Zhang, after he accidentally killed that kaiju, he has a road rage incident with another like giant guy, because there's a lot of those people in this world, like Ultraman style people, and he accidentally rear ends this guy, and the guy's like, hey man, that's kind of fucked up you did that, and he was like PTSD'd out, so he ends up getting all huge and fighting like an entire army of men. And like with like little shuttles and big shuttles and like Voltron stand-ins.
Right.
And this was just like because he was having a bad day, and his boss has to come pick him up, and they act like it's not that big of a deal. They were like, he should be getting a ticket.
Went on a rampage.
He should be getting a ticket and going to jail right now. Like, but no, we're sending him home with you. So it just goes
2 weeks suspended with pay.
Basically, his boss is like, oh, he's really committed to the job. We need him.
Yeah, this was just a small mistake.
Yeah, and in the comic, Gupta, the one who's in debt to the mob boss, gets his pinky chopped off because he's not paying fast enough. Like, dude, it just gets real as fuck.
That is super real.
The entire thing is real as fuck. Like I said, the Xander Cannon. Check out Xander Cannon. He's done other stuff.
I don't want to.
Yeah, if you have the stomach for it. I'll say that. I never give warnings because I just don't think that way.
Well, none of them has really been that bad.
I don't think that way. I never think, oh, that's really messed up. Except in hindsight. If you're going to read this comic, everything I've said is there's more, obviously more things.
Yeah.
Everything I said was kind of the sanitized version.
Obviously.
A little bit of it. It goes because there's pictures, you know what I mean? And so in this YouTube video,
there's pictures.
So in this YouTube video, I'm gonna be zooming a lot, I would imagine, and cutting out
a lot of blur,
cutting out like panels here and there and whatnot. Yeah. So it looks like a web comic of cutesy animals.
Yep.
It reads like the dialogue reads kind of silly. The words they use.
So it's goofy and cute.
Goofy and cute in every aspect, except for the actual events and story.
The actions there.
Yes.
That is insane, man.
It blew me away. I know I've said that once or twice before because it was really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this one's so much better than any of the other ones I've read, but this is, of everything I've read, not just this. For the podcast, this is I've already read a little bit more because I'm gonna finish.
You're super into it.
It's like I said, the assault
weird. Maybe
the assault
you like
hurt me. It hit me. It hit me hard. Like
I didn't like listening to it.
We're desensitized to a lot of things as a modern human, especially people like us that like even had the internet when we were pretty young.
Right.
We had some access to it pretty young.
Faces of death.
Exactly. I wasn't going to get into it, but exactly. We get desensitized to stuff. It's the less overtly graphic things and the more mentally graphic things.
Oh yeah, it's the trauma and the emotional pain that's way worse now.
It'll actually hit you because you're more, and as an adult,
we're old.
It hits you more because you've experienced more things,
yep.
and it's easier for you to empathize with a lot of people now that you've experienced a lot of feelings that aren't the same as these, but familiar.
You can imagine but not understand.
Yeah, it's
and just the imagining is pain.
So that's the difference between sympathy and empathy. You ever heard that? So
what?
Empathy is when you understand.
Yeah,
you felt the exact same thing.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Which if you haven't gone through it, you don't.
You don't.
You know,
so sympathy is not just being like, oh, that sucks. You're going through.
Yeah,
that.
I imagine that's awful.
Sympathy is like, I can't understand that at all, but I bet that's terrible.
Yeah, I imagine
sympathy.
that's horrible.
And empathy is like, I know your pain.
I know exactly what you've been through.
Yeah, and so like that Electrogar is trying to get back to his kids. He literally didn't hurt anybody.
I forgot about that.
He didn't hurt. He was chewing on an electric cable is what sent him to prison.
This better end like super epic with Electrogar like taking down society or some shit.
There's themes
like,
of racism, classism,
it sounds like
sexism.
Revolution.
The whole
that's what it sounds like it's building.
The Green
to.
Humongous that's him.
He's a revolutionary.
Yeah, that's
See,
him.
Dude, it's totally building to that,
bro. Yes,
I didn't see it, but as soon
it
as
is.
That
yeah, I know.
Because why would you dump on him so hard? You dump on a character so hard.
He has to
show
come back,
even if it's
I
slight,
spit on your grave type of situation.
I forgot. I lost where I was.
It has
at.
to be like justified. For
yes,
him to come
yeah. Some slight,
revenge.
win. Basically, even if it's a little, but he has to have some kind of win going on.
Okay, so like I said, the faces are all like monster faces for the most part. The human faces all look exactly the same. So that was a negative about the comic.
Right.
Having the little blurbs at the bottom were invaluable for talking about it, but were not invaluable to get into the story and be entertained. You do not need that.
Yeah, it's like watching a movie with commentary.
Yeah, you don't usually want to do that the first time.
No, that's stupid.
So what happened? Okay, to be completely clear, whenever I read the first 4 pages, I was reading the bottom at that point, and then I stopped. I didn't read it at the bottom until the second read through.
I would have waited till I was done.
It worked so much better. It was just like you said, watching a commentary. You don't watch a commentary the very first time you watch a movie. They're
silly.
Talking over all the good parts,
and
you
don't know what's going on.
Absorb it. You're like, oh, cool, they picked this song because their daughter liked it or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was hot that day when they were recording.
They had trouble with this line.
Yeah, but this author and creator, I'll just call him creator, Xander Candon, amazing. He's done other comic books. I haven't read any of the other ones, but I looked him up, and he's done other stuff. And I think he did the whole thing too, the art and writing and everything.
Oh, right.
So check out Xander Candon. Check out Oni Press. It's definitely not our first Oni Press.
I don't remember what it was.
I know we have.
We've done one.
I know we have.
If not, we've come across a lot of them. That's for sure.
So my quick wrap up of Kaijumax is cutesy, silly, depressing beyond belief.
Okay, so I just went through it a little bit. And it is insane. He showed me all the hard parts, all the crazy parts. It is so weird, bro. It's strange looking. It is. I know you said it's bubbly and cute, but like, I don't think y'all understand how bubbly and cute it really looks. Like some of these
kids book style,
yes,
would be
like
a
adorable.
good way to explain it.
And then so the hard stuff. So I told him hearing all that shit was harder than looking at it.
Yeah,
because looking at it, like you said, it's all cute, bubbly,
it's your
adorable.
mind's eye when you talk about
I was
stuff.
seeing, oh, that was rough.
Yeah, so just I missed this part because it wasn't really relevant, but just to give you another idea of like the stories and the tone. In it, there's a mob boss. They call him Ape Whale. I think that's his name. Yeah, Ape Whale.
I saw him.
He's the I think the kaiju boss.
Okay.
Regular kaiju boss. He's got a son in there with him named Wolfie, showing that they do accept children monsters.
Yeah.
Because the mob boss's kid is in there with him. His name's
right.
Wolfie. He's, I don't know, like equivalent of a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old maybe.
Oh, okay.
Because he's a monster, and I think he's actually, they say he's 60, but that means he's 10.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. And he's an annoying-ass little kid. He's dumb. He never listens to his dad. His dad's a genius mob boss, basically, and his son's a moron, and is supposed to take over when Ape Whale dies when he's older, you know?
Yeah.
But he's like, Ape Whale's always talking shit about his son, Wolfie. So Wolfie, basically, how they play it, I didn't get much further, but they play it as like an imaginary friend that's a human. You know how in like Mothra has little kids that
the twins.
like communicate or whatever with them, and kids have some, you know, relationship with kaiju sometimes. Well, this little kid comes to Wolfie and is like, hey, we can be friends, whatever. Then he shows him a poisonous plant that grows on the island. He goes, you know, it'd be funny if we gave your dad just a tiny bit of this. He would like probably poop himself in front of everybody, and then he couldn't be so mean to you because he messed up. And that would be funny, right? And the kid's like, no, I don't think we should do that, whatever. And he's like, well, if you were my real friend, you would let us play this joke. It'd be really funny. He's so mean to you, blah, blah, blah.
Up.
So he convinces Wolfie over an extremely long period of time to finally do this. And they're at like a meal, like a mob meal. And his dad's talking, and he gets distracted for a minute. And he had just yelled at Wolfie. This is kind of what the straw that broke the camel's back. Wolfie wasn't going to do it, but then he's like, Wolfie, you idiot. You're so dumb. What am I going to do with you? And so he puts the poison or whatever in his dad's drink or food. I don't remember which. And his dad drinks it. And the kid's like, this is going to be so funny. The little like imaginary human or whatever. This is going to be so funny, so funny. And his dad like basically instantly drops dead. Just
Jesus.
like dead as a doornail. Everybody around him is like, save him, help him. No,
he's
boss
gone.
man. He just dies. There's no like, oh, he'll come back. No, he literally just dies.
If you took this story and got rid of the kaiju and just had people in jail and mob bosses, this would be insane.
Yeah.
This would be an insane story.
Yeah. But with the add-in of the kaiju, bro.
All right, so this is our segment, Matt versus Adam. We're going to do something a little different. Adam, you see the spoon in front of you? You see that I also have a spoon, right?
I do.
Today's Matt versus Adam. Spoon fight!
Dude.
All right, so this segment is where we take a random character generator and we see who would win in a fight between the guy, gal, animal, or monster that we get.
Animal, vegetable, mineral, whatever.
Oh, yeah, could be anything, really.
No, it can't.
We got Marvel, DC, video games, and cartoons, and I believe we are doing DC today.
Yeah, I'll try to run through the cycle through them.
It's Plastic Man, but I already got him.
Before?
Yeah, remember I won that one.
You would.
So.
It's automatic win.
Maybe not.
For most?
Okay, I got Constantine.
Okay, cool.
All right, here we go. I hope you're fucking magic.
Very medium power guy.
But see, this...
That's a...
Who you got?
Dude, that's a good one.
Oh, shit!
Yeah,
okay.
bro.
All right, so we got Constantine versus Dr. Fate. Two magic users.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so you know how you always like to bring up that if they're a hero, they'll normally find a way and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Constantine really has that on lock.
That's his... power.
That dude will be like holding something in his pocket.
Deus Ex Machina, like crazy.
Yes, that's his weapon, is Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
He'll pull something out of his pocket. He's had it the whole time.
Yeah.
And didn't bother to use it for 13 chapters and then was like, yeah, I was saving it for this. And then that's it. It's gone.
Oh, my God.
It's like Jesus' toilet water, and then it's like, it's all gone.
My power skills list has a slider bar, by the way.
Oh, man. See, I think this might be you because
as soon as I got it in my head, I go, if we're going like actually powers and blah, 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 like we do, we try to be objective, I'm going to win.
Yeah, for sure.
But if in the comics and stuff, I bet they would play it where you would win.
I guarantee you we've had some matches, like we did Ares and someone else, and we gave the win to Ares. Mm-hmm. But since then, I've learned Wonder Woman has beat Ares before.
Yeah,
so
but that's like, always caveated for. It's Ares here, and he's not as strong as he would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was taking a nap. He's kind of tired.
Because I've read one. I barely read DC. I know I've said that before, but I read some Wonder Woman stuff for a little while, and it was like 2008, maybe 2009 or something. Mm. And Ares was like the bad guy.
Yeah.
And she needed help.
Oh yeah, right.
He's the big bad guy.
That's the general consent. Like we understand it is normally when he's there, he's one of the most powerful people around.
She needs help.
So I got a tiny slider bar for my powers and skills. What do you go ahead? Because I'm pretty sure you got it.
So we got powers and skills kind of separated. No, magic and skills separated kind of. So high intelligence, master archaeologist, occultism, medical skills, multilingual, helmet of fate, cloak of destiny, amulet of Anubis, immortality, invulnerability, superhuman strength, and then it gets to the magic. This is the long one. Magic sense, clairvoyance, awareness. That's not very specific.
I got awareness.
Chronokinesis, meaning controlling time.
Yeah.
Aura detection, astral projection, dimensional travel, telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, flame spell, force field, eldritch blast, energy negation, energy resistance, energy construct creation, so I'm like Green Lantern too, hypnosis, illusion casting, healing, invisibility, phasing, necromancy, biofission, resurrection, divine empowerment, and molecular reconstruction.
Okay, Jesus.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna win.
Okay, I got magic, genius level intellect, so I'm smarter than you. Astral projection, dimensional travel, divination, electrokinesis, energy projection, exorcism, illusion casting, invisibility, mind control, necromancy, pyrokinesis, summoning. I could bring some evil demons up to fight with me.
We have a lot of crossover here.
Yeah, exactly. Summoning, telekinesis, teleportation, time travel, supernatural knowledge, and deception. My hobby is smoking and annoying others.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look it up because I guarantee you he's beaten Dr. Fate before. Because they regularly go.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're either working with each other or going against each other.
Like I said, in the comics, storyline wise, I feel like they would always have Constantine come out on top, kind of. Like I said,
because he's normally a bad guy or a good guy, but so is Dr. Fate, right?
Yeah. So everything you have is a spell. All that stuff is a spell, or you have to get a demon to do that stuff for you. The helmet by itself, without having to be like doing a spell and whatnot, it just does a lot of that stuff.
The helmet is very powerful,
and a lot of that stuff is spells as well. But I think I'd kind of have like a more of a innate magic, internal magic where you have control.
I had to learn.
You use magic.
Also,
I am magic, and you are very good at using.
Because the fate is a entity.
Yes.
Right? And then the body you're seeing is just a vessel. Like human, he puts the helmet on and then Dr. Fate comes out.
The helmet can't do anything unless you put it on.
Exactly. So I'm me. It says, I looked it up. He and an alternate version of Constantine battled each other. Constantine used a powerful Anubis spell to kill Dr. Fate. He later acquires the helmet of fate.
Oh, damn. That's dope.
So, can Constantine defeat Dr. Fate? Taking down Dr. Fate is near impossible, but Constantine's trickery led Nabu to his own downfall, which I've seen in a comic or a movie.
It was that movie, I think.
I think so. It's incredibly impressive that John was not only able to execute the plan, but Nabu bought it. Otherwise, he was going to be fighting almost assuredly losing battles.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
And the arena is downtown Houston, a couple blocks. I see you, you see me, and it's fight on sight. So... yeah, it's probably you taking it. I think I have a really good chance.
If we're going like you were saying at the beginning, we go story wise and what would be interesting, who wins and whatnot. I think Constantine you could argue easily.
Yeah, if we did out of 100,
there's
70-30.
Yeah,
because I think 30 times I could probably figure something out. Right? Yeah,
that's what I would say.
He can trick him. And like I said, he always got some item.
His just MacGuffin. They call it a MacGuffin too.
In the comics, it's great because he's told what's happening, and it's almost like Batman in this aspect where he's already gone. Oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. Yeah. So at the end, when everything looks like it's the end.
Falling
Everyone's
apart.
About to die. This isn't going to work.
That demon that I pissed off is coming back to collect my soul.
Exactly.
So he's going to fight the other one.
Yeah, something like that. So I think, given without prep time, Constantine may be able to pull some of that stuff off.
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. But as for right now, no. initial fight on site, I don't think he's winning. So
Dr. Fate wins that one. But like I said, that's an amazing pick.
And awesome that lineup, that's cool. That's really good.
Genuinely awesome. We had a lot of overlap in our powers and stuff.
That's true. So that's 15-12.
Yeah.
See, if I keep winning, I'm like, oh, I'm so close. You get 1 or 2 ahead, and it's like, oh man, I'm back down again.
Stay ahead, yeah.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, but you were like way down at one point, and you're definitely not way down now.
What would Plastic Man be against Dr. Fate?
Oh, I think Dr. Fate would win, but
I don't think
Plastic
so.
Man. I don't know if he. Oh yeah, that's one person that could kill Plastic Man because he could use magic and shit.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, same with like Superman and like Dr. Fate, Wanda, all them. Yeah. They're wrecking Superman because he can't do nothing against it.
Specifically weak against magic.
Next time I'm suggesting this. We should do Marvel versus DC again.
Yeah, those are cool.
I like those. See what happens.
Let's do that.
All right, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, X. New episodes released every Monday on every podcast platform and YouTube for the visual folks out there.
That's right.
Best way to support the channel is go subscribe, rate, and review on any platform you can do it on. Yeah. I know some of them you can't.
Hit us up on Insta.
Yeah, like, subscribe, all that internet stuff. That's the best way to support us. If you have been doing that, we appreciate it.
We do
so much. Thank you. And that's the show, man. So y'all have a good one.
Bye.